Hello, I'm Kris Barrett, and in today's video, we are going to talk about anxiety. Managing anxiety is hands down the number one issue whenever I ask my clients or my groups, what do you need help with the most? Anxiety for their children. Now, that could be for a child aged from 2 right up to a young adult. And often I'm finding as I go along further in this journey and my own personal experience that as our kids gain skills and become more functional, anxiety actually can become more prevalent until it becomes the main issue that our teenagers and young children are dealing with. So it's really important that we look at this from all ages and all levels. Now, it will look quite different. So I'm going to go through some of the ways that anxiety can look and some of the ways it might look in different ages. Anxiety can look like aggression, irritability, oppositional, like just simply like, that no and being unable to do things. And this goes back, we mentioned it in the sleep video in this series about cortisol, our stress response hormone. And when cortisol levels are raised, our body just goes automatically into fight, flight, or freeze. So that fight is the being oppositional, the no, I won't do it, no, and just, being completely horrid, really. We've got the flight, that's the running away, tearing down the hallway. I won't get in, screaming because they don't want to get in the car and they just, can't do it. They just got to run, the flight. Or the freeze. And the freeze is literally, they are stuck. They literally physically can't do anything. You might as well be, speaking to a brick wall. They can't hear you. They can't respond. They've gone into that freeze. So that fight, flight, and freeze is going to look a little bit different in a 2-year-old versus a 20-year-old. So, for example, social avoidance situations, anxiety looks like that. For a toddler or a young child, that might look like what I said, running away, won't get in the car because they don't want to be taken out of their safe place at home. And they're so overwhelmed by what might be happening when they get in the car, where they're going, who's going to be there, all the rest of it. Whereas for older teenagers or older kids and young adults, it could be making excuses not to go out, just sitting at home in their bedroom on social media and just avoiding that situation where they have to actually be with other people or be in unfamiliar situations. It might look like having trouble sleeping, eating too much or eating too little, a lot of fatigue, like a lot of yawning and fatigue. I'm too tired to do that. That's another, again, that overwhelm is just massive. So it literally makes them physically too tired to be able to cope with the situations. It's almost just going into shutdown because of the overwhelm. It can look like irrational fears, and they're really hard to deal with because they're irrational, right? So we can't explain them away and we can't make it better. So the concentrating and focus, the difficulty concentrating, sometimes that's not ADD, sometimes it's just anxiety, just makes it extremely difficult to focus or concentrate because there's so much else going on in the brain. Now, anxiety, we really need to do as much as we can to get a handle on it because it can just lead to a lot of long-term diseases, digestive issues, insomnia, panic attacks, meltdowns, okay, really things that we don't want to be having to live with. And we also know that the more we can manage our own anxiety, the more we can manage our children's anxiety and vice versa, because we're very tied together. And if we can manage this together as a family, then everyone is going to be in a much better situation and the overwhelm will be much less. So some of the things we can do. Now, what the things I'm talking about are probably things that you would say like we're working from the inside out. And of course you can seek therapy and behavioural programs to deal with anxiety. But I think there's a lot we can do just with our lifestyle and some of these simple tips that I'm going to give you now that I know have worked from coming from, having someone who has anxiety in the family, apart from autism, and knowing how profound these are. The first thing you can do is just get some sunlight. Be out in the sun for, I would say, as a minimum of 30 minutes a day, longer than that if you can, without sun protection. Now, don't take this as a prescription to go and burn yourself to a crisp in the midday sun. I mean, in the early morning or later afternoon when the sun is not as aggressive, you just go out, and vitamin D is made in your body by sun exposure. It's the only vitamin so important for us that the body will make it itself. It's incredible. So it's free as well. So you may need to supplement as well. And I think even mainstream doctors now are testing for vitamin D and testing your vitamin D levels. So you can see where you're at. Do this for yourself as well as your child. And just be out in the sun and getting that vitamin D. It's, vitamin D deficiency is well documented in many, many diseases, including mental health issues and depression and anxiety. So we need to do that. Number 2, we can increase our B vitamins and our omega-3 essential fatty acids. They're essential fatty acids. Essential means we need them. We must have them. Our body needs them for brain development. We need them for our nervous system. So they're very important in keeping anxiety under control. You'll never eat enough oily fish, avocado and nuts to get all your omega-3 requirements from your food. So you'll need a really good fish oil supplement. Okay. I'd say that is paramount for if you're dealing with anxiety, you want B vitamins and a great fish oil. You want to balance your blood sugars as well. Now, this is often very, very overlooked, but you will know maybe from yourself or just observe your child. If you have a meal that is very high in processed or simple carbohydrates and sugar, that you get that spike in blood sugar. And then when it comes crashing down, that's when things all go horribly wrong. So you might feel it physically, like even getting the shakes or headaches or feeling nauseous or just feeling really tired. But in our kids, you ask a teacher this, they'll see this after the kids have had a lunch high in sugar and simple carbohydrates. They'll come into the classroom, they'll be whingy, they're like, me, when they're, crying at the drop of a hat, unable to concentrate, unable to be productive, just all over the place. So balancing blood sugar can actually help calm our nervous system. And we do this simply by adding protein and fat, good fat, to every snack and meal. So have a think about if you're noticing a pattern in like that afternoon when your child might be ratty, maybe they just need a snack, maybe they need a little bit of protein and fat added to their lunch or their afternoon tea. Move your body every day. I won't say exercise, just move your body in a fun way. So for yourself and for your kids, it could be riding a bike, jumping on a trampoline, swimming, taking the dog for a walk, whatever that is. Again, exercise is really well documented to be very, very helpful for our mental health, and that includes keeping our anxiety at bay. So put some exercise into your daily routine as a must. That might look like a yoga class some days, a dog walk, a swim, even some time on the treadmill. And if you can do that in the sun, do your exercise in the sun, and then you're getting killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, so you're getting some vitamin D while you're exercising. So perfect. Make sleep a priority. There's another video in this series all about sleep, so I won't go into it in any more detail here. But to keep our anxiety, our nervous system happy, we need good restorative sleep. So please check out that sleep video and make sleep a priority. Avoid what I like to call the bad mood foods. Now, the bad mood foods, alcohol and caffeine, which you probably don't have to worry about with your child, but just think about it for yourself. We have gluten, sugar, additives, and processed food. Now, again, in this series, there's another whole video on the link between food and behaviour and learning. And so you'll understand the link about how what we're putting into our bodies can affect our mind and our behaviour. So food can have a massive impact on anxiety and calming anxiety. So have a look at that video as well for more detail. But just as a summary, those bad mood foods, you do well to get rid of those. Magnesium, that's also talked about in our sleep video because it's very important for sleep, but it's very important for overall calming. So again, a magnesium supplement, maybe a cream, a powder, a spray, or having an Epsom salt bath. and you can see the sleep video for more details on that. We can do some guided meditation or tapping, and throughout this video series you'll see Sally talking to you about tapping. It's like that. Really good for the kids, really good for you. Instant, free, calms the cortisol, which is the stress release hormone, brings us back down, calms the anxiety, lets us get on with our day. So very, very powerful tool, and it's free. You got to love that. You don't have to go and line up and make an appointment for 3 weeks' time to pay $200 to see somebody. You can just literally tap it out as you're walking, as you need to. So really, little kids are really open to it as well. They can tap along with you. You can tap for them, and it's a really great way to keep anxiety and stress under control. And lastly, essential oils. I'm going to tell you quickly why essential oils make such a difference to anxiety and our nervous system. When you inhale an essential oil, it goes through your olfactory system straight into the limbic system back here, the limbic system in your brain, and that's where our emotional responses live. So we have the ability through the properties of a good therapeutic essential oil to literally change a mood, calm, uplift, whatever it is we need to do, whatever that oil property has. I can say hand on heart with hundreds of clients, and in my own house with a teenager having an extremely violent meltdown, that I was able to calm that using just inhalation of essential oils. That can be inhaling out of the bottle, using them in a diffuser, putting a few drops in your hand, rubbing together, inhaling. It's so simple. It's cents per drop. It's so inexpensive as well. For anxiety, I love to use, possibly my top 3 would be vetiver, frankincense, and copaiba. And they just make such a massive difference. Even a very, very skeptical husband who has anxiety asks for his oils. He can feel the difference. When the first time I used copaiba on him, he said, "What was that you gave me 20 minutes ago? Because I can feel the difference," and now he won't be without it. So we can make a really big difference using all of these simple and inexpensive tools to really get a handle on anxiety, and we can just build them into our everyday so that we're always, just trying to do our best, and all those little bits that add up, all those little things that we do, all those things I've just talked about with food, vitamins, sleep, exercise, sunlight, oils, all of those things, they're just little things on their own, but they'll add up to a really great result. And I know, because I've been there and I've used them, and I know what a difference they can make. Love for you to post any questions below. Thank you very much for listening. Please don't forget to hit subscribe, ring the bell, so you'll be notified when the next video is up, and we will look forward to talking with you again soon.